Hi everybody, welcome to Kai Dragon Gardening and Cooking Channel. And I'm Annie, and I want to talk to you about something so simple that you're going to love it. You can make use of a garden space where the soil hasn't been all that great for you, and with some easy steps for you to do no-till gardening. Now, when I'm making this video, I'm just going to show bits and pieces in between what I'm doing, and hopefully Kai can piece it all together rather than trying to tape what I was doing and take a long time doing it. Anyway, so if you have a pitchfork or a garden tool like the claw, you can kind of work the ground a little bit. You're not going to be tilling it. It's called a no-till garden for a reason. It's the same thing that you would do if you were doing garden beds. So you're going to work the soil a little bit just to loosen it. That's all you want to do. You want to loosen it so that way once the cardboard and other stuff that you put down degrades over time, or the plants go down and they hit that, when they hit the ground, you don't want the roots all curling up just to go on the new soil. You want them to be able to go in and make use of the soil that's there. So that's why you kind of loosen that soil up a little bit. Sometimes you have to wet it down a little before you use the claw, and you don't have to like pull all the weeds and stuff out, but if you mow it before you ever start, and mow it on your lowest setting on your mower, so that way you know, if you got grass and weeds and everything, that you have that mowed way down real low. So anyway, take your garden claw or your pitchfork or whatever, and just kind of loosen the soil up a little bit. Then a fairly good flat area that's going to get at least 6 to 8 hours of good sun. Sometimes I recommend doing a soil test to see what your soil might need, and you can send off, you know, to have your soil tested. Also, you know, you can just check the pH level, and by doing that, just take some of your soil, put it in a jar, put a little water in it, put the lid on, mix it up real good, and then get you some of those test strips, pH strips from like the pull and small places. They're pretty inexpensive if you go about it that way, and then you can kind of see where your pH level's at. Anyway, take a soil test to see what the soil might need for production. Also consider where your water access is going to be. Now, a lot of people like to put in drip systems, and the first initial project when you're doing that, it's going to be kind of costly, but once you get it done, you're going to be glad you did. Watering by hand, it kind of sucks, but for me, you know, since I'm retired, time is my friend. I can go out and water a little bit in the morning and then again in the evening. I never water anything in the heat of the day, and because we've had to cut back on the watering because of the drought, I kind of cut it back to once or twice a week, so the plants have really had to get used to the idea that they're only going to get that good soak, and then that's it. They're not going to get a drink for a week unless it happens to rain or something like that. So I use a lot of straw mulch. So allow more spacing between your crops, because you want to be able to maneuver around. So I always recommend at least 2 foot. 3 foot's nice if you have it, if you have the space, because then you can get in there if you have to get a wagon or a wheelbarrow or something like that in. Let's say we got birdies or something making noises for us. Anyway, allow yourself that in case you want to make a nice little walkway, or you know, that extra foot, if you decide you want to put some grow bags or some pots or something down, or do any kind of decorating, it gives you a little more room. Keep your garden pretty near the house so that you stay interested and you go out there every day and check it, because your plants need you to survive. They really do. You can't neglect them. So, you know, if you know you're going to go on vacation during the summer months, you might want to wait until the fall season to do your garden and plant everything in the late summer. So it just depends on what you know, what your plans are, and what you want to do. So make sure that you're making a draining soil. Some people just apply layers and layers of compost and then a layer of topsoil. I like to mix my stuff with a 1/3 mixture. I use peat moss, topsoil, and compost, because we're lucky enough that we can get really, really good compost from Kansas Compost Place, and they are very reasonable. And you know, like I said, we're not affiliated with anybody, but I do like their compost, and it's broken down really good. It's not something that you have to wait for it to completely break down. It is ready to use, and it is good, rich soil. So start out with your cardboard. Usually you want the stuff that doesn't have any ink on it, although the inks that they use nowadays are not supposed to be harmful to the soil, so you can keep that in mind. So save your old boxes, or you can go to the grocery stores and ask them if they got boxes they want to give away. Because what you're going to do is you're going to figure out where you're putting this at, and then you're going to layer your path with boxes. And so you're going to break down that cardboard so that way you have basically sheets of cardboard on the ground. Then you're going to soak it really good with the hose. You're going to spray it so it's laying down flat before you ever cover it up with your soil mixture or whatever type of soil that you're going to use. So after you have it all flattened out and everything, and you start applying that soil mixture, you want to have 3 to 4 inches of soil. Most plants need about that good 4 inches, especially if you're planting deep. So make sure that you're putting enough soil down, because like I said, the cardboard's going to break down over time, but it's not going to break down right away. Otherwise you're going to find yourself cutting holes into the cardboard and you know, or doing something to poke through, so that way the plants can get all the way through when the root base is growing. So place a tarp or a weed barrier like cardboard on the ground to kill off the weeds, like I said. Then put a good layer of compost down. If you start out with a good layer of compost, you are going to be a lot happier. So unless you know what's in your soil already, and you already have the mix the way you want it, and your plants have been thriving in it, compost is your friend. So compost, 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 remember that. Rake it out to make sure it's loosely covering the ground, and you know that you don't have spots that it's real high up here and real low down there. Just make sure it's nice and even. Then if it's still a little bit compact, then you might have to, you know, use your little garden tool, but it shouldn't be when you're using fresh dirt like that. You should be good to go. Some people, after they do all that, will add a fertilizer to the top layer, or they will mix it in. A lot of people use broad spectrum fertilizer. That's more like for, you know, farmers or people that have a lot of land, or morganite fertilizer. But I also like just your basic all-purpose granules and stuff, or the water soluble fertilizer is fine. Just put some fertilizer down before you start planting. I mean, it's a good idea. Or if you want, a lot of people will use a little bit of fertilizer and a little bit of bone meal to get a good root structure in the planting hole. So that's just another helpful tip. But anyway, there is nothing to no-till gardening. It is just basically a fancy name for putting the dirt on the ground with cardboard on top to suppress the weeds. So that's all there is to it. But like I said, do the same thing if you're building garden beds. Put that cardboard down. That way you're not going to have those weeds popping up through and stuff. You're going to be glad that you did. Don't forget that step. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this. Hope it was good for you. And hopefully Kai can piece it together in the right way so you can kind of see what's going on. I did a small area today just for this video, but I had another purpose in mind because I have squash planted where I've already made an area for no-till gardening, and I didn't make it quite wide enough. So I've got some zucchini and yellow squash that is growing, and hopefully we're out of the way now for vine borers to come and find us and wipe us out. But you never know. There's other pests that like to do that as well. So I'm going to be planting a cover crop called daikon radishes, and my family loves them. They're really good on sandwiches, and you can pickle them. You can do other stuff with them too. So that's what I plan on doing with that space. That cover crop is also going to be good for the soil, so that way as I go into winter, I know that next spring when I want to plant, that area is going to be dynamite once I start out, and should have some good production going on there. So anyway, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I release more videos. Like, share, and subscribe, and please tell people you know who do gardening, any friends and family that you have. Let them know about our channel. We're hoping that we can get more subscribers that way, but word of mouth is always the best advertisement, and you guys are like an extension of family to us. We really do appreciate you. We're very, very grateful. So you guys stay blessed. Don't be melancholy. You're in the garden. Let us remain successful, happy, and be in a place of serenity. The garden should be your happy place.